Il faut faire reculer les islamistes.
We need to push back the Islamists. For that, I believe we need to ban the veil from public spaces.
I've noticed that the number of Muslims in my country has been multiplied by 1,000,
So
while
what's
the
the
number of
problem?
mosques has also been multiplied by 1,000.
Many Muslim women have been aware for some time that the Western media tends to present them as being in need of sexual freedom, or on other occasions, oppressed and submissive, or worse, associated with terrorism. In this video, we will talk about France. It is no secret that the French media and politicians have a problem with Islam and Muslims. One of the things that has been much talked about in the French media is the Islamic veil known as hijab. Under the pretext of a secularism whose meaning is at the very least ambiguous, if not distorted, they go so far as to advocate banning the veil from public spaces, only to stigmatize Muslim women. Marine Le Pen is a member of the French National Assembly and was the president of the National Front, FN, a far-right political party in France.
Il faut libérer l'ensemble de ces...
We must free all of those women. We need to push back the Islamists, and for that, I believe, we need to ban the veil in public spaces.
You will create civil war if you do that. I'm telling you this sincerely.
Mister, it's dangerous what you are saying.
What you
Listen
are
to me.
proposing
What
is
you
very
are saying
dangerous.
is serious.
Madam, what you are saying is very serious.
Yes, Marine Le Pen's remarks are very serious. It's terrible because she deliberately mixes things up to prove herself right. She is trying to say that Islam equals Islamism and that the hijab equals terrorism. But what is really Islamism? To understand this term, which is too young compared to Islam and which does not exist anywhere in the original Islamic texts, it is important to answer a certain number of questions like, what is Islam exactly? Does Islam have a political tradition? If so, how does it differ from Islamism? Who has the authority to define what Islam is and what Islamism is? It should be noted that similar problems exist in other religious traditions, such as the relationship between Judaism and religious Zionism, or the relationship between Christianity and Christian fundamentalism. In short, Islam is a text-based religion. It has a holy book called the Quran, as well as the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, known as the Sunnah, which provide context for the verses of the Holy Quran and guidance for Muslims. Therefore, instead of defining Islam based on what some Muslims do, and then from that, inventing concepts that serve no purpose other than vilifying and denigrating Islam, people should analyze and define Islam based on its teachings as found in its books, keeping in mind that a Muslim is a human being who can act contrary to what Islam teaches, but that is not the subject of the video. Today we are talking about a brave French Muslim woman who uses her strong arguments accompanied by facts to silence the haters of Islam in debates on television. Lilia Bouziane, a professional lawyer, is known as someone who vehemently defends the rights of Muslim women and Islam in general. She has been invited on many platforms, either to give her the opportunity to express herself or to trap her. This time, she was put in front of Damien Rio, a well-known anti-Islam troll on Twitter and a self-proclaimed expert on Islamization, a term used to create a fictional fear in many citizens who support the far-right ideology.
I work on the phenomenon of Islamization and all its symptoms. There are many symptoms that show an Islamization of France, and I am interested in these symptoms, and so when I see them, I share them.
Symptoms. The far-right activist seems to consider Islam as a disease that is spreading in France and considers it his duty to denounce on the internet all the symptoms of the so-called Islamization. But Bouziane is a lawyer who does not miss an opportunity and listens carefully to everything her opponent has to say.
Why do you say that? As if the Islamic veil was something illegal. Is the hijab illegal in France?
I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm saying it's a symptom of the Islamization of my country.
Of our country. And according to you, what is Islamization? And are you a doctor to detect symptoms?
Bouziane did not stop there. She took the opportunity to denounce the unprofessional methods used by her opponent to gather information about Muslims.
And when those people send you photos, do you always check and verify who sent you the photo? As long as you earn something from it, you share it. Is that what you do? Because I would be surprised if all the photos you have published were sent by journalists.
Very eloquent. The Muslim lawyer even uses her knowledge of the law to intellectually beat her opponent to the point of making him look ridiculous.
And tell me, Why do you share those images?
To show exactly what is happening, that is to say, an Islamization.
Do you define yourself as a whistleblower?
Absolutely, because I show to people how an Islamization is taking place in my country.
So you define yourself as a whistleblower, but I would like to remind you that according to the law, the whistleblower is someone who denounces crimes or offenses.
No, that's not true.
Yes, that's what the law says, and if you want, we can check.
You know, I am going to answer you on the other question.
No, answer me on whistleblower. What kind of crimes do you denounce?
But what are the motivations behind the Western obsession with the Islamic veil? In fact, the Western craze for the veil and its presentation as a tool of oppression of Muslim women is not recent. During the colonial period, Westerners used the Islamic veil as a tool to justify their desire to impose their culture and values on Muslim lands. The idea that men in colonized societies oppressed women was to be used in the rhetoric of colonialism to make morally justifiable their project of undermining or eradicating the cultures of the colonized peoples. By creating the narrative of the defenseless Muslim woman, the colonizers were able to justify their violent imperialist project with a seemingly moral reason, which allowed them to occupy the lands of Muslims and exploit them while imposing their culture. For these same reasons, the West continues to use the veil for neo-colonial purposes. The Muslim veil has become a screen on which the political anxieties and struggles of Europe are projected. However, more and more Muslim women in the West are now using the veil as a symbol of resistance. They are trying to reclaim the meaning of the hijab in order to challenge Western stereotypes and misinterpretations of the veil. That's all for today. I would be happy to read your point of view in the comment section below. Thank you very much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.